Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our Simple Abundance year. We are following along with Sarah Ban Breathnach's book, Simple Abundance. And I appreciate one of the comments recently that simply stated, "Thank you for showing up." I feel that way about you guys too. Thank you for showing up. I'm very much showing up today because I already sort of alluded to the fact on the last video that I needed some time to really contemplate the next topic, which was introduced on yesterday, April 12th's entry, and then is further explored today on April 13th. And just prepared to have a really real conversation with you guys. I don't know exactly what's going to flow out of me, but typically it's definitely from my heart. It's usually from a very deep, dark place when we talk about these acceptance entries. But this is me being real. So yesterday's entry was called Learning to Love and Honor Your Body. I've been very open with you guys that I'm not there at that place. I'm going to read the things that she says, but I don't feel like for me that I can snap my fingers and just change, she gives us advice, but for me, this is a very deep-rooted issue for me. So I wish I could just get on board with the things that she's saying, but I'm not there yet. But I showed up and we're going to talk about it. She does ask a pretty interesting question first off. Which comes first? Learning to love our bodies or possessing a positive body image? It's kind of like which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Either way it works, she says. If you don't possess a positive body image, and most of us don't, learning to love your body can help you develop one. I personally have not found the way to learn to love my body the way that it is yet. She says, she's quoting American feminist Gloria Steinem when she says, if you can learn to like how you look and not the way you think you look, then it can set you free. I absolutely believe that. I know that there are people that don't struggle at all with their body image. And I see them having successful relationships and feeling confident in what they're wearing and putting themselves out there in a lot of ways that I feel like my body image and my issues of, it's self-loathing. Like it's a bad issue for me. And my place from there, it prevents me from even trying to date, even having hope of any future relationship. It's something that is very sad in my life because I do feel like if I could just snap my fingers and flip a switch, that I would have a totally different life. I have tried hypnosis. I have tried various forms of regressions and healing, and I already told you guys that I had an eating disorder and was in serious treatment for that. And I was able to stop the eating disorder, as far as the behaviors, but the thoughts in my head and my feelings about my body have never changed. So yes, it's good that I don't starve myself or binge and purge anymore, but I still am the same hurt, sad person inside about this particular thing. I have tried to explore where it comes from also. I do know in some of my teen years that I definitely encountered some things in my personal life and in the media that led me to have some certain beliefs about appearance and worthiness. And I was really skinny at one point. And I feel like in a lot of ways I still look out of those skinny person eyes as far as thinking about who I equate with to be in a relationship with, or compare myself to the old version of me that I would like to look like again. Although when I think about when I was skinny, I do know even in high school I was going out and I was, I might have had like one little dimple or something on my thigh, and I was like out at the beauty counter buying the cellulite cream even when I was like 17 or 18. So somehow this body thing, I mean, I can think back to even like being about 11 years old when things started for me. So I don't have the answers, but I'm going to read what Sarah says more about this. The time has come for us to realize that until we work on increasing our self-esteem by loving ourselves in small ways, we can't begin changing ourselves for the better in big ways. We must start by choosing to break the self-destructive cycle of unrealistic expectations, especially our own. It's like she's talking right to me, right? And then here's her advice, which maybe you'll find this easy, but I don't. Starting today, shun the world's idea of beauty because it's constantly changing. She does tell us, and this is true, in Egyptian culture, Queen Cleopatra actually longed to have varicose veins. Middle-aged beauties patted their bellies. Queen Elizabeth I painted her face with white lead and vinegar. She says, don't wait for the world to celebrate you. Carve your own niche. Focus on what's great about you. Forget what's not. Find joy in your own reflection. Instead of obsessing about a body that's impossible to achieve without a personal trainer, begin to discover how you can feel better about living in the one you have now to inhabit. She goes on to say, and she's quoting Diane K. Rausch here, a woman's relationship with her body is the most important relationship she'll ever have, more important than husband, lover, children, friends, colleagues. This isn't selfishness, it's just a fact, health and fitness expert Diane Rausch tells us. The body is quite literally our vehicle for being, for giving, for loving, for moving, for feeling. And if it doesn't work, it's fairly certain that nothing else in our lives will work either. Today, instead of hating your body, make peace with it. Choose to consciously love and honor the sacred garment Spirit provided for this life's journey. I don't know how to not hate my body. I don't know if I'm blaming my body for other things emotionally. I don't know. It's not really been great for me to be home a lot with this pandemic either, because I've definitely been eating more. And I've been craving all kinds of stuff that I never ever ate before. And I mentioned I do have an autoimmune condition, so there are things I shouldn't eat because it just sets off a flare. And I still do it. So I sat down to write in my journal, because this next entry for today is about weight loss. And I wrote down all of my feelings about being overweight and about losing weight. And there have been some times where I have lost some weight, but they were with diet pills or with completely not eating for 2 months. I mean, just having like broth, basically. And yes, I lose weight and then I feel great for a couple months. And then as soon as I start eating normally again, and I eat fairly healthily, so it's not like I'm binging all the time. But for me, my body doesn't seem to do what a typical diet situation is like, calories in, calories out. It's simple math to lose weight. It's not that way with my body and my health condition too, and the drugs that I have to take now to manage it a little bit better. So it's something else that I feel helpless and hopeless about, because I really, really hate when people say that until you love yourself, that nobody is going to love you. I hate when people say that. I think that gives someone with the feeling of not loving themselves totally the feeling of despair. I feel like you definitely can love others without loving yourself. I get what that saying is saying, that basically like you're going to allow people to love you as much as you will allow them. And if your expectation of them is here because your expectation of yourself is horrible, then you're probably not going to have the love that you want to have in your life. That's definitely an issue for me. I already told you guys that I feel so flawed. It's not even just my body, it's just things about me in general and my past decisions and all the baggage that comes along with it that make me frustrated, that I do tend to accept situations that aren't the level of love that I should be deserving of. And in moments I get there and I get in my power and I'm like, this is not right, But it's just been easier for me to just push it away. Because you think about it, and if I were to, I did say that it's a self-loathing level for me anyway with my body on a daily basis. So if I'm basically like rejecting my appearance every day, then seeing that through another person's eyes, well, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. There are definitely times I've been in romantic situations and just felt like my body doesn't matter, like the person really loves me from a soul level. And that's what I want. That's what everybody wants, right? But relationships there's been a lot of difficult ends for me in relationships. So for me, it's like, maybe they do say sometimes, like psychologically, when you're holding extra weight, that it's because you're like trying to protect yourself or you're trying to be invisible in some ways. And that could ring true to me as well, because I told you this is the body that I'm in right now. I feel like it paralyzes me, and my belief is that, yes, there are people that probably would love me, but because I look out of those judgmental eyes of my own to myself and to what I hold other people to as far as a standard of whether they would be worthy of me, those things are not matching up. So there's probably people that have been interested in me. Actually, I know there are, because it's not like I don't get asked out, but most often I'm like, are you kidding me? I would never go out with you. And then, that's what I'm thinking about myself too when I think about being worthy for the person or the people that I see that I would want to go out with. I probably would be like, what, are you kidding? They would never go out with me. Anyway, this is a therapy session for me. Sorry. So in today's entry, when we actually get into the weight loss talk, she does say, food is not our enemy. If we are alive, we're supposed to love to eat. Food is the source of vital fuel our bodies convert to energy in order to survive. She talks a little bit about anorexia and bulimia for one point, and also about how she's against dieting. Every woman has a weight that's ideal for her as opposed to an ideal weight. This is the weight at which you feel the most comfortable, have the most energy, stay well, and feel good about how you look. We can achieve that weight when we begin to trust our bodies, forget size, and abandon the scale. Instead of weighing yourself, let your favorite clothes tell you how you're doing. Above all, trust the guidance of your authentic self. Go within and visualize her. See what weight she carries. Ask her for help and for her to help you achieve the perfect weight through the power of love. Today, be willing that self-love is the only weight loss aid you'll ever truly need because it's the only one that works. What do you think? Do you think that if you or I were able to totally love ourselves and our bodies, that we would just automatically lose weight? I'd like to believe that, but I'm not there yet. I don't know. I can honestly say in this moment, I don't know how I could ever accept my body the way that it is right now. And that's sad. This is one of the hardest things in my whole life. It's the root of everything for me. Thank you for letting me share. I know I'm not alone in some of these feelings. If you have books or like a weekend retreat or something that you would recommend to just, I actually did find a retreat once online for women that were going, to just totally let off all societal beliefs about their body. One fear that I have is that the self-loathing that I have is going to turn into further disease. I already feel like my whole digestive issue is partly related to this because you know how Sarah says that everybody should love to eat? I don't love to eat anymore because it's been such a painful thing for me for several years. So it's almost like my whole issue with weight and food and everything has manifested into this condition. And then I've been thinking, like, what is it going to take for me to get breast cancer and then have my breasts removed? And then I'm going to be like, feeling further flawed and like I'm deformed or something. I mean, I don't even know. I don't want that to happen. I don't wish that upon myself, but I do realize the damage of self-loathing. And there was even, it's not coming to my mind right now, but the name of this book that I'm thinking of, but there was a book about, I think it's called Loving Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And there's somebody with a gun to their head, basically, because when you are saying horrible things to your body or just thinking them that can manifest in physical things. So for my own health, I know I need to fix this. But right now, I don't have the key. I do sort of feel like, as far as like the chicken and the egg question at the beginning, that I do sort of feel like it would take somebody, like in a romantic situation, a life partner, loving me for me to believe, because that helps me. If I ever have been in a relationship in those situations where I said that I don't worry as much about my body because I feel like they love me, I sort of feel like I need that before I will believe that. So again, I don't like when people say, no, you have to get there first before it will happen. Because that just feels like, well, may as well just be alone for the rest of my life then. So anyway, I don't have the answer because I'm obviously not putting myself out there. So it's all just a circular, self-fulfilling prophecy like so many things are. And hopefully this hasn't been too much of a downer, but this is one I told you was going to be hard for me. So we have one more tomorrow. I don't know if I have the strength to do it, but it's about what you really hunger and thirst for. And actually, I did read a book during my recovery from bulimia that was called It's Not About Food. And that was very, very life-changing, because it isn't, eating disorders especially are not about food. So I do realize that there are a lot of emotional traumas and things in my life that I've done a lot of healing on. I don't feel like I'm unhealed from those things, but my body image and worthiness and all those things that are wrapped up in all of this food and weight and everything has to do with a lot more than eating and food. Okay, I could probably talk forever about this. I'm going to sign off, but thank you for your time in listening and allowing me the time to express this. Not easy for me. Appreciate your understanding and support, and feel free to share at your comfort level about your own thoughts and feelings about this. And we will get along further on the journey here. This was just a little bump in the road. Hope you're staying well, and I will talk to you next time.